the question, what is money? Bro, that was a real orange pilling moment for me because I was like, I didn't know what money was, right? I didn't know where money come from. I didn't know what it was. We all have this perception that we understand what money is, but we don't know how it's created. We don't know who controls it. We didn't, and so that just opens up your world, and you start digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And my understanding of macroeconomics and things like that is way deeper than it was. In fact, I would have thought economics was the most boring subject in the world, but turns out it's something I'm quite passionate about now.
Well, I think it is, right? Like when you're looking at all the Keynesian economic stuff, it's all just like jargon bullshit, and there is no meaning to it. But then once you find like Bitcoin and Austrian economics, you're like, oh man, this is juicy stuff.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And that this idea around centralization, because that was another thing I didn't understand about Bitcoin at the start, was the decentralization. I didn't really understand that concept. It sort of came a little bit later. But so before that, I had no concept of what centralized government was, or central banking, and this idea that you know our money, for example, should be centralized, and there's only a select few people that you know have the control it basically and decide who gets it and what interest rate they're going to pay. And it's this you know what's Carlin say, it's one big club and you ain't in it. And you've got to recognize that we are the bottom feeders, or the whatever they want to call us. We don't live in the way that the elites do, right? We don't have access to the capital that they do. We pay more for it. We're getting fisted by the tax department. um, and now you just look at the cost of living because of COVID and the excessive money printing. I'm not sure what the cost of living is like where you are, but I mean, you'll know Australia's freaking crazy. New Zealand's, anywhere in the West, I feel is we're in the end of days, bro. It's just getting more and more expensive, and it's kind of concerning, eh?
Yeah. I mean, Costa Rica is definitely a little bit cheaper, like especially for like rent and produce and stuff like that. But when it comes to anything imported, it's almost the same price. So as long as you like live kind of like a local, you can live relatively cheap. But my best buddy, his brother just came out for a couple months, kind of just get some codes off me and my buddy about how to live a good life and you know all that stuff. And I was just showing him around my place. And I mean, like, it's not like a crazy place, but like I pay like 1,000 US for this a month. And it's like 3 bedrooms. And it's like it's a big place, it's nice. And my buddy's brother is like walking around and I could see his brain like turning over. He was like, wait, I'm actually so fucking confused because I pay more than you for a room in Sydney.
It's very much like that here where we are in Queenstown, bro. It's like $1,000 a week for a house, and more, for a basic house. And you know, I just don't know how people afford that. I feel fortunate. I've got my own business, so I guess my income a little bit higher than most people. But for people on fixed incomes, this is the other part of the psyop, right? Like you cannot get ahead. You cannot open your mind. You cannot raise your consciousness when all you're worrying about is how you're going to feed your family and pay your bills, and basically never get anywhere, because the system is rigged, that's for sure. And, you don't have the time, like, for example, it's the middle of the day. I can be on this podcast with you. I can choose to have some type of, freedom, if you like. Um, but sadly, most people are not able to do that now. And then, of course, you've got, daycare fees and everything else that goes into, you know, living. Food is really expensive here in New Zealand, which is crazy considering we're a food producing country, right? We export most of our food, so yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's like for me, like a huge reason why I've like moved to Latin America and like stationed myself here. And I'm gonna move to Peru in like a month from now. And like I don't make like a ridiculous amount of money, but like my money is all made online, right? So I'm not location dependent at all. And like even on what I've made now, it's like I've retired my partner, you know, because like we're good. Like the cost of living is low, and especially as like someone who's like entrepreneurial and like creative and has passions and like wants to explore different ways of generating income. I always tell people like if you're like living in Sydney, it's so hard to make it work because you have that like push on you all the time to like just pay the next month off. Whereas like you move to Peru, you're like living in a nice place and like you have all the groceries you could ever need and you're paying like, 600 US a month for all of it. And it's like if you want to go big on business and be an entrepreneur, it's like you have to give yourself a little bit of like leeway to fail and learn and like pay the tuitions and, you know.
That was the thing that stuck out for me when we met you in Vegas, actually, bro. Was like when you said, "Oh, I live in Costa Rica," and that I just thought that was so cool. Like, actually, I was like, "Dude, this guy's onto it," because a lot of people, well, most people, I guess, we just get stuck in this again, this system, the matrix of. A lot of people wouldn't think that that was possible. Actually, that you can just do that. Um, so yeah, that was pretty cool, actually.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, it's actually not that hard to do. Like, in all honesty, like I went through the ringer to try and work it out because I had no idea what I was doing. But like with a little bit of guidance, you can actually put it together pretty quickly, especially when your cost of living is like nothing.
Mate, I believe that to be true. Like our son, he's only 6, but we're homeschooling him now, and that was again this whole thing where you go, oh man. When Nell first mentioned it to me about homeschooling, I was like, man, you're crazy. What are you talking about? That's just because that's even though I feel consider myself to be awake, there's still parts to your psychology that is still asleep. You know what I mean? And now I'm just like, I can't believe anyone goes to school. The place is the system, the education system is garbage. And we thought all those things like, how are we going to do this? We're like, how's it going to work? Well, we're doing it now. And to your point, it's actually pretty easy, you know?
hmm You just have to choose, you know? That's really it. Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed the show. If you did enjoy the show, don't forget to like and subscribe below. It really helps a growing channel like this out. And click up here, it'll take you to a collection of the best this podcast has to offer.